Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Wednesday, 3rd of July. We're in the thick of summer, it seems like. It's nice and warm. I wore this dress. This is a dress. I don't know if I should be modeling it for you, but it was given to me by a designer in Ghana. Let me get up. It's a mini dress. I can't show you the whole thing, but it's mini, isn't it, mini?
It is.
It is mini. And so my legs are out and everything, which is very rare. I don't do that. I like long dresses and trousers and things like this. Anyway, today is a good day. Today is the 3rd day of July. Hopefully it's going to be a warm summer because today the sun is out in fits and spurts. It's a bit cloudy, but it's warm. We're going to have a discussion. And we're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about children. We're going to talk about womanhood. We're going to talk about writing a book. We're going to talk about a disciplined woman doing 10 things at the same time. I don't know. What is that? Multitasking.
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 That's the word.
My guest today is somebody who I just recently discovered her. But I am in awe of her. I am in awe of women. I love women. I want women to do well. And this is one of the women that excited me the minute I heard about her. And I thought I must bring her on to the radio, into my space, so that we can have a chat. Her name is Abena Eyeson. Is it Eyeson?
It is Eyeson, yes.
It's not icing on cake. It's Eyeson, son of I. And she's educated up to PhD, so you're Dr. Eyeson, actually.
Yes, I am.
Whoa. Young ladies out there, can you hear this? I have got a doctor, a professional, a PhD person. She lives in a beautiful suburb outside of London with her husband and 3 young children. Between school run, managing a busy household, trying to maintain a working life, she has a deep love of drama and writing, and led her to pen the book called Looking Up.
Yes.
She's going to tell us about looking up. She's going to tell us how she did it. She's going to tell us about her life in general. And you see, education is important. Education is key. And as I always say at the beginning of my show, all human beings at heart are beings of love and intelligence who seek to grow, to express their creativity, their intelligence, and the only way to survive is to think. And to think in the modern setting, our survival, is to read, is to learn from experience, is to be taught, and is to impart. Right now, young people are on the internet, on the computer. It means reading and research. And that is it. And that is the only way that you will survive in this rough world. Now, to do all that and to get to where Dr. Abena is, you need to do all these things. You can't just be a slay queen and then think that you're doing something. You can be a slay queen. I like beautiful people, but I like intelligent, beautiful people, the ones who are making it with whatever it is that they've got. So, welcome to my show.
I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm excited. I'm very happy that you're here. Now, your book, you wrote a book. Should we talk about the book first?
Yes,
and then
please.
we'll talk about the book a little bit. And we'll talk about life a little bit.
Okay.
And then we go back to the book.
All right.
Okay. So, what inspired you to write this book? Now, her book is called Looking Up. Do you want to give us don't give us the whole thing or how it ends or anything, but just give us a little bit to get us all excited.
Okay. Looking Up is told by a 13-year-old girl called Issy. And Issy is leaving Ghana to come and live in London, reluctantly. She's been very happy living with her grandmother in Accra, enjoying the security and the certainty of her life with her grandmother. but she's coming to London to join her mother, who came many years ago to come and work for money, but has lived apart from Issy for a long time.
Okay.
But she's coming to join her mother in London, and so the story's about her first few months in London, the ups and downs of her relationship with her mother, finding out about her father who's been absent from her life for a long time, dealing with adversity and challenges that she hasn't come across before, and how finding out more and more about her parents leads to a big confrontation in the end, which clears some of the cobwebs and allows them to start to rebuild their relationship.
So basically, without saying too much, this is a book about people who, or a book about a girl who came at a young age into an alien world, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, left her beautiful, comfortable, loving grandma.
Has the certainty of life.
Yeah, and she came to England. That's interesting, indeed, because there are loads of people who would identify with you. There are different types of people. There are people who their parents were here and left them in all Nigeria, Ghana, wherever.
Yes, exactly.
And then years later brought them back.
Exactly.
Brought them here.
Yeah.
There were those who were actually born here and sent to Ghana.
Yeah.
And they also, the whole range of being separated from your parents.
Yeah.
But there is something which happens because the life is different, especially when you're young and you're into the arms of your loving grandma, grandpa, and all of that. It's very different from being here where your parents are always at work and you hardly see them and it's just weekends and all of that. So that's another thing. And then there's the type who comes at teenage years.
Yeah.
And by then they're fed up and they have a whole different idea of their parents. And then they get here and then their parents are going to work and coming.
Yeah.
And that kind of feeling of your mother or your father or this whole family setting is imagined in your head because the truth is far from...
Yeah. And also the parents don't know how to relate to their children.
Yes.
If you haven't lived with your child for a long time, because living day to day, you build up a relationship based on familiarity and understanding how each other ticks.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that on a day to day basis, you actually become distant. You don't know how each other ticks. And so I think for a parent, it's also difficult to rebuild that relationship with your child if you haven't lived with the child for a long time, because you run the risk of trying to be either being too strict or trying to be too pally, too friendly, in order to
with your child.
Yeah, trying to find that balance. It can be difficult, I think.
Why did you name it Looking Up?
Right at the end of the story, right at the final page, Essie has been through a number of challenges since she's been in London.
Yeah.
But towards the end, she starts to see the light, that it may not be so bad. And so life is looking up. Yeah.
So she was looking up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all go through that phase of looking up in our lives because depending on what you are expecting to see and get in life, it's really interesting sometimes what happens to you. Do you see what I mean? It's really, it's confusing sometimes as well. What happens to you in your life?
Because you don't have control over it. You may have a plan. You may think this is how this is going to go, but things happen and you have to deal with them. So that's what's happening with AC. Things are happening and she has to deal with them. I don't know if I should say too much more.
No, you shouldn't say too much more because we want people to be interested enough to buy the book. But one of the reasons why you're here, it's not necessarily the book. We want people to buy the book, of course. But the reason why you're here is to talk about, as a woman, how you juggle your life, how you manage to... Did you do everything get to PhD stage before you actually got married and settled down to have children? Or did you as you were getting on in your marriage, you were also studying, doing this, taking the children to school, coming back, had first baby, blah, blah, blah. How did you do it?
So I started my PhD. When I started my PhD, I was single.
Okay.
But by the time I finished my PhD, I was married. And I'd had my first baby.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
How long did it take you to get to that point?
It took 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it took 4 years.
What did you major in your PhD?
Development studies.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what does that mean?
So development studies is to do with issues concerning developing countries. My research was on Ghana.
Okay.
So my background is in HR.
Okay.
I'm an HR professional. And so I did my research on 2 multinational companies based in Ghana, looking at their development of indigenous staff, looking at the experiences of indigenous staff who work for multinationals but are working in their own home country.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what the research was about. So I spent about 6 months in Ghana.
Wow.
Doing research for the PhD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you left your husband and went, or you were single then?
So I did it in 2 stints. So the first stint, I was, we were together, but we weren't married.
Okay.
And the second stint, we had just got married.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you went for 6 months.
I went for
left him here.
2 months. So I did 4 and 2. I did 4 and 2. That's what I did. Yeah.
Right. Listeners, I know there's problems with Facebook because even I can't see what we're doing. We're in darkness. I don't know, in Facebook darkness, not normal darkness. So we can't see each other, but it's fine. We're still talking. So if you can hear us, then that's one step forward. Okay. So now, the other question I wanted to ask you was, what made you write the book?
So, like I said, my profession now is HR, and I've been in HR for a long time. But when I was younger, say when I was at university, I was a bit of an actress. I was a bit of a So I've got that bit. That creative. I've got a creative part of me, which I haven't really been using. And so for a long time, it's been niggling away at me.
So did you actually act in plays and things like that?
At university, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I used to perform poetry and things like that, yeah. But
You've got a thespian here.
I haven't used it for a long time. Anyway, so it's been niggling away at me, and I kept telling myself, I think I could write a book. I think I could write fiction. And so one day I had a word with myself. I said, if you think you can do it, you better do it. So I started working, thinking about I need to start writing this book. And this is the idea that came to me. It was about the idea of a girl leaving the comfort and security to come to London and dealing with all the things that a lot of us have dealt with when we first come here. So it was a way of kind of exploring a lot of issues that immigrants face when they come.
You also came as a young... What age did you come into England?
I came when I was 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I came with my parents.
Everyone came together.
Yeah.
That's more comfortable.
exactly. Yeah.
It's not like half is here and half is there, and then you come and then you don't know them very well, and then that sort of thing, and it's uncomfortable and it's horrible.
Yeah. I think leaving. I mean, obviously, people don't do it for malicious reasons, but I think it's a big decision to make to leave your child behind, because it has all kinds of consequences in the future that you may not be able to control. That's before I started having children, I used to wonder, when you leave your child at the nursery, it used to be a worry to me, because I used to think, what my child is going to think, I'm deserting him. Oh my God, it was hard. It was really hard. I went through a lot of difficulty when I, left my first child. It was horrible. It was like, it was so difficult. Because you want to protect, don't you? I mean, as a mother, you want that instinct is quite strong to protect. Yeah. But so I mean, I understand that people leave their children behind for financial reasons. They have no one to look after them. All of that. Yeah. But it has consequences that sometimes I don't think we explore enough before we make the decision. Yeah.
One of the things which also one becomes aware of as you grow is, when you have children in the UK, it's different when you're in your home country, because there you have systems in place. You have your mother, you have people, you know, you have relations, you have all sorts. But here, it's just you.
Yeah.
If maybe a father, but nobody else. And then you take your child to the childminder.
Yeah.
And then you take your child to the nursery. And then you don't, you know, all sorts of horrible things. If
you hear stories,
and then you're worried that, oh my God, this is going to happen to her.
Yeah.
You know, so leaving your child becomes painful and difficult and stressful. And so you think it's better to take your child back home where they're surrounded by love. But then people forget, though, that a child needs its parents. You know, like the mother and father unit first and foremost before the outside, you know, the extended. So that child, even though they're happy, they always worry, you know, about the parents. And then they start to build all sorts of ideas. It's either the parent left them, or maybe did I do something bad? Am I abandoned? Or when am I going to see them? And all these hairy-fairy ideas that by the time they do meet each other, they don't really know each other.
Yeah, there are barriers.
Yeah.
They have to overcome. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, I'm not writing this book to blame people, make people feel bad.
Of course not.
Yeah, but I think it's something that happens so often, not just to Ghanaians.
Of course.
To a lot of immigrants do the same thing.
One of the things that I'll tell you, one of the things that Nigerians do that, you know, because of your book, I was also chatting with people, and I found out, I have a friend actually, and I didn't know this before yesterday, that he said to me that he had some medical issues, and his father was quite well-to-do. He's a Nigerian.
Yeah.
So they brought him here, and he was taken to, you know, so he was in hospitals here, and he went through, you know, to get better, and he did get better. And then he was taken to boarding schools, because they were in Nigeria, so he didn't know them very well.
Yeah.
And his father, he grew up, and he's still here, and they're dead. I mean, his mother is alive, but he hasn't seen her for 13 years, and he doesn't miss her. You know, he doesn't think of her
used to it.
as I am always talking about my mother, and my mother passed away, and I'm still in shock, and he cannot reconcile with my continuous talking about my mother, because he has one, but it's a whole different relationship. Then I have this other one who another person told me that his mother lived here. They all lived here, but she, a girl, was taken and given to somebody in the country, somewhere in one of the, you know, somewhere, I can't remember where she said, but somewhere outside of London, and she actually lived there and grew up there, and her mother used to visit. So after a while, when the mother decided that, it's enough, you've grown up enough and you can live with me because now you can open the door, walk to school and all that, she was very resentful, and they've never got on. Never, ever got on.
I mean, that to me is one of the things, the way you don't think enough about it. So you're trying to fix a problem.
A situation. But you're creating
a new situation. You're creating a new situation. Because you don't think enough about, you're thinking about your needs. As a parent, you're thinking about your needs as opposed to the child's needs.
Or maybe the family's needs.
It's
but you see, I don't think we spend enough time dwelling on our feelings and our thoughts. We do things because, you know, these things need to be done. Without thinking that, how's my child going to feel? How's my, you know, what's he going to think?
What's the impact going to be on the child?
What is the impact on the child in the long run?
And in this time of where mental health is now becoming more and more of an issue, thinking about, you know, how is it going to affect the child's well-being as well. So really the idea of the book was to, you know, because one of the things in the news as well is the fact that a lot of fiction, especially fiction for children, older children or younger children, there's not a lot of black characters in fiction. So for me, the idea was to write a story that's about our experiences. Like, it's about it's about our lives.
Yeah.
And to chronicle it, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's partly what it's about. So it's a drama, but it's a drama that reflects
our
experiences
lives.
that a lot of people will be familiar with.
That people would identify
exactly.
with.
Yeah.
That's very good, though. I like that. I really like that. I like that there are situations which, because you can't continue reading Cinderella.
Yeah. There's a time and space for those things. You can read about horses and all of that.
Of course.
But our stories also need to feature in there somewhere. You need to be able to have that option of reading about the lives
of AC,
Yeah. People like us, basically. So, your child, if a child picks up a book, they can see themselves reflected in it. Or they can see their parents reflected in it. It's about our experiences. Which are not the same as... Yeah.
I get excited when women write books, because sometimes you are bringing out women write books. That is not to say. But when an African woman writes something, there is emotion in it. You read it and you think, when you describe the weather, you talked about the rain. In the first paragraph, I actually smelt it.
Oh, thank you so much.
No. Seriously. I feel, because I come from Africa, and before it rains, you can smell the world. And it's so beautiful. I love it. I like the smell of impending rain.
Oh, wow, okay.
And you described it, and I smelt it.
Oh, thank you so much.
You see?
Yeah.
So, you got me there.
Oh, thank you. It's my first book, so I feel like I'm still learning.
There you go. There you go. So, the other thing also I wanted to ask you was, why did you write about family? Could you, are there not other experiences? Before we go into your question, one of my first interviews I did about a book writer, a female book writer, which just blew me out of the sea, was she was the first Ghanaian erotic book writer. So what it means is, in her book, there was a lot of sex, a lot of, now we don't do that in my country. We don't even have sex in my country. We just have babies. So, and I'm reading the book and I'm thinking, hey, that thing.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. Hilarious, not that the book was hilarious, but I was waiting for people's reaction to this, because there was nothing wrong with the book. Everybody else writes these kind of books. But in Ghana, you are always concerned about what society is going to think. I don't know whether we're
conservative with a small C.
Oh, God, we're conservative with a big C. It's a big C. So, here again, I've got you. I mean, of course, there are many other writers. They write all sorts of things. We have Efwa Sutherland. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
She's a very good authoress. She makes, she writes poems. We make songs. One of my favorite songs, Teita, she wrote it, But when you have somebody who is writing, it is not fiction. It is near to life. It is practically life. The minute I smelt the rain coming, I was into the book. And that is how it should be. And then also all of the things you talk about regarding family and feelings and thoughts, and right now, as you said, we're talking about mental health. And you can identify all of those issues in your book.
Oh, thank you. I mean, for me...
And I didn't read the whole book.
I
couldn't even read. And yet, look at the things I've picked up without you telling me. Oh, dear.
So the idea of the book was for you to be in AC's head.
Yes, I did enter it.
Yeah, so you're hearing her thoughts, her frustrations, you know, when she's happy, the things, you know. So you're in her head, and that's how she's narrating the story. So part of it's spoken, but part of it is
also thoughts
in her brain. I mean, it's in her head, in her mind. Yeah,
thoughts. So you're traveling with her. You're
absolutely.
The
You're
whole
experiencing
journey,
it as she goes along.
her journey.
Yeah.
Wow. It's good. We're going to play some music. I'm going to find a suitable song to play. I don't know what... the other day I was looking for something to play and I found it very difficult. But yep, I'm going to play something nice. And then we'll come back and talk some more about your book. You know this song? Do you know this song?
Yeah.
Sedina is listening.
Oh, she said, okay. I told her I was coming.
Oh, wait. Can you dance on your own? Can you dance on your own? Hello, we're back. We're back now. PPI complaints deadline is 29th of August 2019. If you haven't complained to your provider before the date, you won't be able to claim money back. Payment protection insurance was sold alongside credit products like loans, mortgages, and credit cards. It is often missold. More than 33 billion has already been paid back to people who have complained. Checking if you have PPI is simple and free. You don't need any paperwork, just your date of birth and previous addresses. Many providers have online tools and will help you through the process. You can search for your provider's contact details on the Financial Conduct Authority's website. Search FCA PPI or call 0800 101 8800. 0800 101 8800. remember, you need to act before the 29th of August, 2019. So you have a month and a half to do this. If you are owed money, go and get it, and then bring me some. Okay, today we're discussing womanhood life, writing a book, getting your PhD, doing all those things as a woman. And I've got Abena Eyeson here, and she's so sweet, and she's so shy, and she's giggling shyly at me. But we're talking about life. We're talking about her book writing. We're talking about her achievements. We're talking about why she wrote the book. We're talking about all of these things which I think other women should listen to, and try your best to amount to something. That's what life is about. In this day and age, now that we're aware of certain things because of social media and everything else, I think women should help other women. And that's where we're at. Yes. So Abena is here. We're just having a normal chat, but we're quite happy for you all to eavesdrop on our chat. And if you want to call in and say something to Abena or to me, or even to tell me off about something, the number to call is 0208 670-7300. 0208 670-7300. Call, let's talk. Let's talk about what you do during the day, what women are up to, what is going on in your life. It's really difficult for you to get onto Facebook and to see anything. But the recording is going on, so maybe you will see things later. In the meantime, I'm sure you can hear me. If you can hear me, send me a message so that I know you can hear me. And we can keep on talking. Otherwise, the whole thing is futile. So let me know. Thank you. Back to you. I'm doing this one-man talk. Yeah, so let's see. Now, are there any other, because you said you're writing this book for black children and adults. You did tell me that you were writing this book for black children to actually identify and things in their lives in the book.
So originally when I wrote it, I thought I was writing it for an older child with the original audience. Okay. What has happened since I wrote it and it's gone out is that a lot of adults have read it. And it reminds them of their experiences and their lives. And so I've realized that it is more than a children's book. It is also a book that appeals to adults. So that's why it now says it's for older children and adults. Okay. Yeah.
So you want adults to read. It's good though. I mean, adults should read what the children are reading. Basically, adults should know what the children. But if adults identify with it, children are learning from it. It's a win-win situation. Yeah. Okay. So
because it's a family drama, so it's about family situations. It's not about just a child's experience. It's about
the situations. The grown-ups were also part of the whole setting of the book. Okay. So you were telling me that reading was important before we started. So what do you mean by that?
I think it's been found that reading. So at schools, your child's always being encouraged to read, and you think it's just for literacy, but actually reading is good for our mental health. It's been found that reading is one of the best ways to de-stress, even for adults. And there's been a therapy that has been developed around reading that has been found to be very effective for depression. So one of the things that makes me sad is I went to a book fair in May. So it was more than a book fair, it was crafts and all of that as well. But for black, trying to promote black crafts and black books, etc. And the number of people who went by my book stand and said, "Oh, I don't really read," made me quite sad.
What do they mean by "I don't really read"? They don't read anything?
Well, I guess they read their Facebook or they read their their social media, but they don't pick up books and read. And so I thought that was quite sad, because if you as an adult don't read, chances are you're discouraging your child from reading too.
Yeah.
If they don't see you, the adult, reading, they're not going to get the role model or the example to think reading matters. So I just think I left feeling a little bit sad that so many, and it was mainly a black audience, so so many black people came by and were willing to admit that they didn't read. So
they were willing to admit.
They didn't see a problem with admitting they didn't read. Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah.
You know, there is this advert. From what you're saying, I remember I don't know if it's an advert, but it keeps coming intermittently on Facebook and on WhatsApp about a man and his 3 children on a train, on a tube, and everybody's holding a book, and they're reading, and it's so beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Do you know why? First of all, they're black.
Yeah.
Second of all, normally it is rare to see that. People are on their headphones. They're listening to music. They're listening to something. They're not actually reading.
Yeah.
A book.
Yeah. And books don't cost a lot.
No.
And in this time where, things are tight and stuff, I think it's a good time to rediscover books.
Yeah.
Because books are a way of us learning about worlds and societies that we are not familiar with. It's been found as a way, especially for children, to learn to be tolerant of other people who are different from them, people, who don't live the life that they live, to learn about different cultures and different ways of being is through fiction. Is one of the most effective ways of doing it. And I think it's the same for adults too. Yeah.
I get you. What you're trying to say is you need to read to broaden your imagination.
Absolutely. Yeah. And your view of the world.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And we need to read different books from different places.
Absolutely, yeah.
And especially us in the diaspora.
Yeah.
We need to read books about our history. Our history has been distorted. And we need to get the truth now. And we need to identify with our people. And yeah. I think you're doing a good job. I think this one book. Are you going to write more books?
That's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan. But you need support. When you're a writer, you write, you put a lot of effort into it. You put a lot of yourself into it, and you think you've produced something that's worthy. But you need people to support it. Basically, yeah. You need people to.
In what way?
You need people to go and buy it. Basically.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
You need people to buy the book so that you can produce a second one and a third one.
Yeah.
Like the way we were reading Enid Blyton and all of those things. Now, we need to read Abena Eyeson.
Well,
and
that'd
then
be nice.
you become a household name, isn't it? Yeah.
That'd be nice, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, as a writer, I think it's the same for every writer. You need people to, to read the work and make you, so that you can judge whether it works or not. Basically, yeah.
No. I'm impressed, and I think that people should read the book. I don't want to say too much about the book. I only go halfway, and then here we are talking.
Yeah.
But how do you find the writing process, though? We've talked about the book a little bit, and we've also talked about how you got there.
Yeah.
But how did you find the process? Was it difficult, or is it because it was something in you, so you could do it? I mean, what was it, please?
Well, I mean, I learned how to writing this book.
Oh, you went to school, or what?
No, I mean, I did it myself. But I did it myself. It took me a long time to write the first draft, and then I sent it. There are a number of manuscript submission services now.
Okay.
Where you send your manuscript, and then
is it at a price? Do you have to pay for it? Yeah, you do have to pay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it expensive?
Yeah, it's a few hundred. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but if you want to get if you like, an experienced person, so an editor or an agent, or somebody who has some knowledge of publishing world, to give you an insight as to whether it's going right or what you should be working on, what's working, what's not working, that kind of thing. And so I did the first one I did. I wasn't sure. I was quite scared when I sent it because I didn't want them to come back and say, "Oh,
it wasn't good.
It's rubbish." Yeah, but what she did was that she said, I can see that you write well, and the book has got a lot of merit, but it's too long. That version was too long. So this is about the third version. So it takes, writing is a thing you keep evolving it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you wrote a whole book. That was your first draft.
The first draft.
So it wasn't like 2 paragraphs and then.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
You have to. They need to see the whole thing to make a judgment. And for you as writer, if you only wrote 2 paragraphs, it wouldn't be very useful. It wouldn't be very useful. Use good use of your money.
Okay.
Because you would still have to finish the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I kept changing it and finally ended up with this.
So whilst you were writing, because by now you've had your children and you've got all these, all 3. So how did you do it? Did you wake up at 4 a.m. and write a little bit and go to bed, or how did you do this?
I fit it in whenever I could. Yeah. So after, evenings, if I woke up early enough in the morning, I'll do a bit. Weekends, I'll just write whenever I could. Yeah. When I was in the house by myself. Whenever I could, really. Yeah.
So when you're in the house by yourself, then you write a little bit more. You have a cup of tea or coffee. Tea. You're a tea girl.
I'm a tea girl.
Like me. I'm not a coffee girl. My friend Jocelyn is a coffee girl. She drinks coffee. She does anything. Before she opens her eye, she's had her coffee. Otherwise, she's not going to be grumpy. So, coffee always plays a part in people's lives. So, have you actually had reaction from your book, apart from me, who I'm telling you all these things about the book? Have you had reaction, or have you had after this? Because now, people, there's the book. She's got a book. Looking Up. Have you had reaction?
I have. I mean, on Amazon, I've had a number of reviews on Amazon, which have all been very, very positive.
Okay.
And people have personally come up to me and told me how much they could identify with Issy, basically. They could identify with experiences.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's been really lovely. Yeah, wow. I even had one lady, and she was white, so I was actually very pleased about it, who came and read it and said that it made her cry. So I was like, wow. No. Yeah.
The book made her cry.
Yeah. I think there's a bit, again, it's a bit where there's a death. And, that bit made her cry. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's been positive so far.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are now saying they can't hear the, I don't know what's happening to Facebook. I have no idea what's happening to Facebook. But it's not showing. People say they can't hear what we're doing, etc., etc. But that's fine. If you can't hear, it's fine. I will put it on YouTube and you can hear.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what are your future plans? Are you going to write another book?
I've started working on the second one. So,
is it a continuum of Abena Looking Up? Or is it a whole different...
It's a sequel.
Okay.
So Acey's older.
Oh.
She's 16.
Wow.
And so it's mainly about her and her friends. It's moved on from being about family. It's about her and her friends.
And peer group.
Yeah. The experiences. Yeah. It's still early on, but that's the emphasis. It's on her and her friends.
Well done.
Yeah.
I think you should keep writing about Acey because we will be buying it and reading it some more.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. I mean, this is your first book.
Yeah.
And it's out there. And I think people should read it because, especially people in the diaspora, this book was written for you, so you better go and get it. And, I feel like I'm related to you and I'm so proud.
Oh, thank you.
No, this is what we should be doing. We should be doing positive things. for our community and let it spill out into other communities, because we are living in some other people's community and we are controlled by their things, and we're losing ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why we need to write our stories.
Yes, and I'm very happy to hear your story.
Oh, thank you. And I also think that our stories should only be about, I think that, the urban story is important. So stories about gangs and all that, it's happening, so it's real. But I don't think it should become the only story in town. So I think that there should be a wide variety of stories that reflect Black characters, that show us in different settings and in different situations.
Okay, now, why was it AC? Why wasn't it Kofi or Kwesi or?
I suppose.
But this is the gender that somebody sent me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a girl, so it was easier to write about a girl.
So was there a little bit of you in the book?
I think inevitably it is, because I'm imagining Essie when I'm writing it.
You become her.
Basically. Yeah, in my head I'm imagining her as I'm writing her. So I guess a little bit of me is in there.
A little bit of me.
Yeah.
And what about what was the hardest scene to write? Because sometimes, or did it just flow? How did you do it?
The beginning came very fast. The first 2 chapters came very fast, but actually the middle bits was actually the hardest bit to write, because after a while I figured out how to end it, and I like I said, the beginning was very quick. But the middle bit, sustaining the story, was the challenge. Yeah. Creating a story that had ebb and flow, that, kept you wanting to turn the page. That's the challenge. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So after a while, it became hard.
Yeah.
So how did you overcome it then?
Like I said, it's been revised a number of times, and each time I think it's got better. Oh. So, yeah, you have to be resilient as a writer and be able to keep yourself going. Persistence, probably that's the word. Persistence.
Oh no, I'm excited because at the end of the day, even though it was hard to write in the middle, the beginning was cool.
Yeah.
You got to the end.
Yeah.
And then the middle was tough. Do you know how I read books?
How do you read books?
When I enter a shop, and it's a habit, I read books. I like books, and I love Sundays. I absolutely love Sundays. And I have this habit where I have this book, and a book every few, at the end of the month when I'm paid, I go and I buy 2 books.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I do that a lot. I mean, like 6 times a year. I go and buy 2 books. Now, these 2 books, I put them down, and it's there by my bed. Yeah. And it's lying there. And sometimes it becomes 4 books, it becomes 6 because I haven't got around to it. But when I do have time, I wake up early in the morning on a Sunday around 4 or 5, and I can take a book and I relay my bed. It's a very strange habit. Yeah. I relay my bed. I have my tea or whatever, or hot drink. I like Horlicks. This is on a Sunday, especially in winter.
Okay.
And then I am cozy and I'm in my bed and I read my book. Yeah. And then I can stop. I go down, start cooking a little bit. Yeah. Then I leave things in the oven or whatever. I come back, I'm reading the book. And this book consumes me. Yeah. But when I finish reading the book, I am happy. Yeah. And and the way that I read books is, for that purpose, is I go to the shop, I look at the title of the book, and if I like it, I then go to the back of the book. Okay. And see the end. I read the end before I start the beginning.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Do you see the thing? Yeah. So this is how because I need to feel good at the end of the story. I cannot suffer it. I cannot. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I have to be inside of the book.
Okay.
And when I'm reading the book, it's like it is my family, my peeps, my, until I finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the sign of a good book, if you can get engrossed in it.
Yeah.
If you start reading a book and you can't really engage with the character, it's hard to keep going. So I think, you're in a good book if you're engrossed.
Well, people, we're nearly at the end of the show. I don't know if you realize. Yes. Because, you see, this is how it is.
Yeah.
You kind of think, oh, God, an hour. What am I going to say? What am I going to do? What if she asks me a question I can't do? Oh, my God. And then here you are, you've answered everything. So, do you think, though, one of the questions I ask, people write books I read, I always think, maybe I should try and write a book. I never do. I'm not that sort of person. I have no discipline whatsoever. And I am such a snuggle puss. I like my life, I haven't got time for this. I go to work every day, for God's sake. So, but do you think someone could be a writer even if they don't feel emotion? They don't feel strongly about you were AC. But if you don't feel the emotion of AC, can you write a book?
Well, I guess for me, because I'm new at this, so for me, the way I write is to get into the character. I don't understand how you can write a book without getting into the character. You have to be able to imagine the person in order to find the words to write about the person. Okay. Unless you're writing non-fiction, which I guess you're a bit less, you're a bit more distant. Yeah. But if you're creating a world, as it were, you have to be emotionally involved, I think.
So do you hide secrets in the book? Because I hear that when people are writing books, they have particular secrets that they hide here and there. I interviewed a guy who wrote a book, and he was, but he came to sit down and talk about his book and advertise the book and everything. Okay. And he was talking about this country called Zamunda or something. Oh, no, something about that. Yeah. Yeah. Zakanda or something. I can't remember the name. But he was saying that, and there were a few secrets. I found one secret, though, because I read the book avidly. Okay. And I asked him, he said, that was the secret in the book. So, do you have to write a few more before you can perfect?
I think I'm still learning the craft. Yeah.
No, it's a good craft. I think it's a good craft. It takes you away from things. And also, it disciplines your mind. Yeah. You sit there and you write, and it's beautiful. I think it's a wonderful gift.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It's a wonderful gift. And, you could be writing screenplays soon.
Well, let's see what comes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, now that we've talked about the book, we've talked about your life and how... Are you working, though? Do you actually go out to work and then come home and then do all these... mind the children, do the cooking, everything else, and then write a book?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in HR for about 20 years. Wow. Yeah, I've been in HR for about 20 years. I have taken breaks here and there, especially because of the children. Okay. But yeah, I've been in HR for about 20 years.
How long did it take you to write this particular book?
I'd say over 3 years. Yeah. Yeah.
You see, people want to write a book tomorrow. Like, publish it. They want to write and publish and sell tomorrow. So, so how's that going to happen then? Yeah? This was my dream. I thought you were going to tell me some trick.
Well, I mean, I've heard of people who've been able to sit down and write in 6 weeks, but I think you'd have to be an incredibly experienced writer to do that. Because most writing, you do the first draft, and the first draft is like the beginning, and then you really start structuring the thing, and so it takes a while.
Chaptering it and all that.
Yeah, and then people give you feedback, and then you're changing. Yeah, it goes on for a bit.
So who are the people who give you feedback? Apart from the professionals who you pay to give you feedback. Yeah. Who else? Is it your husband, your friends?
My husband read it. The kids read it.
Oh, wow.
The girls read it, not the boy. The girls read it. Also, I had certain friends that I trusted read it as well, just to give me feedback. So you get a feel as to whether people are relating to it well or not. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you do any research?
Yeah. But mainly online, because there's so much you can find online now.
Oh.
Also, it's partly, obviously, I'm Ghanaian, so
you know
what I know,
what I
know, and then also finding things. Because in the story, in this book as well, I chose to write some Akan.
Mm-hmm.
So when the grandmother's talking and the mother's talking sometimes, they're speaking Chi.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Chi, but I don't know how to write Chi. So that's how the internet came in very, very useful, because I could search on the internet and
translate
the words. The words that I know, but I can't write.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents checked it for me, actually. They were my checkers. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming. I think that, you've made me think, maybe I should, can I? Oh my God.
Anybody can.
No, I don't think so. It's too hard, and all of this. I think, but, I think there are people on there who may want to try. And I think if you feel like you can, give it a shot. Go and by looking up by Abena Eyeson, Eyeson. Yeah. And you can learn about things about the diaspora, people in it, us in it, America, USA, wherever. We are all over the place. It is good for us to know what is going on in the world, what is happening to our children, how they think, the millennials. And, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been fun. Yeah.
It's a pleasure, my darling. It's a pleasure. Now, I have so many songs on. Oh my God. I have to stop it. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. It was easier than I thought.
But did you manage to say all the things you wanted to say?
I think so. Yeah. I guess we didn't say where you could buy it, but I guess if they look for me, they will find it.
You know why? Time will run all that.
But if they search for me, they will find it.
Bye-bye, people. We've had another Wednesday again. Next week, we shall talk about domestic violence again, because there's this news about the girl who was killed in Croydon.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening in the world? Why women all the time? The minute you talk about women being hurt, maimed, killed, men say, it happens to us. Where? In the news? Is it a secret? What's going on? This is sad, and I think we should address it. So, until next week, people, I must love you and leave you. I'm wearing my mini dress, though.